Hello and thanks for joining the Tuesday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. Let's remind you that it's exactly 80 days to the conduct of Nigeria's 2019 general election. As the polls draw nearer, we will always be here to give an in-depth analysis of events shaping the polity. Today on the program, Okorocha vows not to support Hope Uzodinma as Imo APC governorship candidate, says he's the best ever governor of the state. And later on the show, federal government approves new salary structure for police as Police Service Commission commends President Buhari over commitment to welfare of policemen. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju, Gani Kayode Balogun. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thanks for joining us once again. Victory, according to late American author Napoleon Hill, is always possible for the person who refuses to stop fighting. This appears to be a case of the governor of Imo State, Okorocha, and he has decided to take in the face of lingering crisis rocking the All Progressive Congress (APC) in the state. Governor Okorocha has decided to fight on despite seeming odds. During an exclusive interview with TVC News, the Owele vowed not to campaign for the party's governorship candidate, Hope Uzodinma, for the 2019 election. He, however, boasted that President Muhammadu Buhari will win the 2019 election, while his anointed governorship candidate, Uche Nwosu, will emerge the next governor no matter the platform on which he chose to contest. The enigmatic governor says he's the best ever governor of the state. But is Okorocha still popular in Imo State? Let's find out with this clip.
Anybody that says you should pack, that person is Onyoshi. So the open market is free for you, am I right? My people, my people.
The governor of Imo State, Okorocha. Babajide, from what's before the primaries, after the primaries, and counting 80 days to the presidential election, and the governorship will come 2 weeks after. So let's say over 100 days to that governorship election. Okorocha was one of those people that took the very, very, unpopular decision in the southeast to pitch his tent, and to form the All Progressive Congress in 2014, when the party was formed in 2013, 2014. But the bottom line is that he is the only APC governor in the southeast. How popular is Okorocha?
Well, it was one of the questions that I sought answers for. Depending on who you speak with. If you speak with those who do not like him, they will tell you he's not popular, he has not done anything. If you ask them, has he really performed as a governor? They will say, no, Okorocha has not performed. But if you go to the state and you move around, and you really are someone who likes the truth, you will see clearly that Rochas has done so well. He has performed, done so well in the state. The first time I took note of that was when a friend of mine, who is also a critic on Facebook, Chike Okonko, said that there's no governor in the Southeast who has performed like Rochas. So, and I went there, I saw things for myself. If Rochas had the resources that some states have, he would have done a lot more. Now, back to the matter of his popularity. Rochas, like most governors would like to do, if you go to their state, they want to show you what they have done. And he was taking me around Owerri, showing me projects that he had executed and the ones that were still were yet to be completed. And he doesn't commission projects. As a policy, he doesn't commission projects. He just delivers the project and they start using the facility. He doesn't believe in women coming out to dance, in the name of commissioning maybe a borehole or something. That's not his style. Now, I told him that I had spoken with a lot of people, and what majority of them said was that he had lost his popularity. So he said, okay, let's get into the vehicle. And he said, see, where people should hate me the most is Douglas Road, because he demolished the market, he's building a road, and he continues to harass people who trade on the road. And the moment we got to Douglas, we said, when I come out, you will see the way I'll be received. And that's exactly what happened. People were hailing him. When we went to the open market, some women were bringing even the fowl, chicken, to present to him. You can imagine poor people presenting gifts like bananas, like pineapples to the governor. And this was not something that we planned. You understand? So it was spontaneous. So if you are popular, people will be able to judge right there. Because the response to him was very good. And you saw it in that tape. If you look at that tape very well, you will have seen me. So it's not something, that we took from an old tape. But whether his popularity will translate to the victory of his son-in-law is a different kettle of fish. There are many people today who love him, but they do not necessarily agree that he should be succeeded by his son-in-law.
I think that's a big factor.
Look, it is the biggest factor in all of this. Yes, you've done so well for us, you've worked for the people, but we don't think it's your son-in-law that should succeed you. So that is the sticking point. That is the point of departure between him and a lot of the people. If today they say, I'm agreeing for someone else beyond apart from my son, his popularity will even be higher. No doubt he still remains popular, but he's not going to be on the ballot. He's not contesting. So whether that popularity can rub off on Uche Nwosu if he decides to go and contest on the platform of another party is something that I really cannot say at this point. But if it is to attest to judge based on what I saw, videos of which I brought back, you cannot say that Rochas is not popular.
GKB, he's saying that the primaries, the primaries that was held, I think in August, September? Yeah. But the bottom line is that he is not going to support the candidates of the All Progressive Congress. That is Senator Hope Uzodinma. Yeah. Do you think this is good enough?
Well, his self-interest, of course, is the bedrock of any decision that we take as individuals. And as far as Okorocha is concerned, installing his son-in-law is the only mantra left to cement his legacy as governor of Imo State. He has taking a leap of faith and is not going to back down. Don't forget, this is the same governor that fought the National Organizing Secretary under Oyegun.
Okay, GKB, let me just pause you there. I want at least Nigerians to see where he actually made that statement.
Okay.
APC in the Southeast is myself. And I make bold to say so. Because there's no other part of this southeastern state that produced a governor, produced a senator, produced a federal house or house of assembly than Imo State. Anyone in APC who is a senator or house of assembly member or house of rep that you see in any of the states, especially who joined recently after President Mohamed Buhari had won. So the face of APC in the southeast is Okorocha. And the danger, what people have forgotten is that if I hadn't won this state for APC, Southeast would have been cut off from the entire national politics of APC in Nigeria. And that would have branded APC as a sectional party. I was only preached that I held APC together in this country. And all these people now who are coming to contest in this our party called APC, none of them was in APC when we started. Right from Abga to APC, they were all in PDP. And I defeated them. So I do not know, and I defeated them when I was not a governor, not an incumbent governor. When the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, then PDP, was even against me. And all the elites in PDP in Imo State were against me. I'm not shocked to hear that both Aton Zerebe, Emmanuel Wanyama, Hakim Udem, Wararume, Hope Uzodinma, Emeki Hedioha, Kema Chikwe, and all these political big wigs in Imo State were all in PDP when I defeated them. And you must have had that, in that my campaign, I said I was going to retire them then, alone. And I defeated them with the KK people, with fish sellers, with all these people. And they had the army, they had the police, they have SSS. Now, these people are all-weather politicians. They are coming to APC because President Buhari is the commander-in-chief. They can't do an election without accessing police and without accessing SSS or INEC. So with the name federal government, they used to go. Some of these aspirants, you see, cannot contest for election without the commander-in-chief of the armed forces using his name to either do 419 or deceive the people that are going to bring down police and right results in their houses. That's the only hope they have, not that they control the masses. Or if any of them like, let them come out with me, let's work on this, the street of Owerri. I challenge any of the aspirants, come side by side with me, I'll stand here, you stand here, let's work on the street. If they will not be disgraced, let them come. So somebody has touched the life of people in this state. And President Mohamed Buhari has not offended me in any way. Right, those who have offended me also have offended President Mohamed Buhari. Oh yes, because they do not represent him well. But the integrity for which President Mohamed Buhari is known for is justice, equity, and fairness, honesty. A man who does not believe in corruption, a man who believes in fairness. That's the image that carries Buhari. That's what all of us are benefiting from, especially those of them from up north there. Every governor that became governor because of President Mohamed Buhari. I became governor against the image of President Mohamed Buhari in this country. Because all these elites were against him. They called me names, they called me Boko Haram, I lodged in government house. There's no name I never, Okorocha. I suffered all these names, yet I defeated them. How do you even have a governorship candidate who took his deputy from the same zone? What is that? They don't want Elo, they don't want zoning. The APC candidate now, he's from Olu zone and his deputy from Olu zone. So can't you imagine there's something wrong, something that is, there are things you cannot defend. So this is the true story in Imo State, my dear. But for me, I stand for what is right, and Uche Nwosu cannot be stopped from running an election. If it doesn't please him, if he doesn't get his ticket from APC because of the standard of national chairman doing the wrong thing, the young man is free to elsewhere and get his mandate, which the people have promised him. Because you'll be doing the Imo people a disservice. And the way it stands now, President Mohamed Buhari will win Imo State. I will deliver him. Who will deliver him? Our own group will deliver him. But the only pain is that what will deliver Buhari now? They will say they deliver Buhari. And Buhari doesn't have to come to Imo State to win election here.
Vintage Rochas Okorocha there. But let me quickly take this breather. When we come back, we'll talk more. Please don't go away. It's still Journalist Hangout. This is Journalist Hangout. We're reaching you live from Television Continental here in Lagos, Nigeria, and we're looking at the intra-party crisis within the All Progressive Congress in Imo State. GKB, before we took Rochas Okorocha, you were...
Yes, I was saying that this is not the first battle that Okorocha has fought for the soul of Imo State. In fact, if you remember very well, he fought the former National Organizing Secretary,
Osita
to a standstill.
Okay.
Until he got back the structure of the party in Imo State. And I'm sure deep down in his mind, he has made up his mind that he's not going to let go. Don't forget, there are 2 weeks hiatus between the presidential election and the gubernatorial election. And those particular 2 weeks is going to be very interesting in the history of Imo State.
Jide, when you look at what he just said, that he has faced a lot of battles and so many battles, and that this one is convinced that he is not going to support Uzodinma of the APC, and Uche Nwosu, whichever party he likes, he should go and contest, that he could get his mandate. How visible is this?
No, he didn't say he should go and contest. He said if he chooses to contest. Okay. Because he is also a politician. No matter how bitter he is, he still wants to come across as a good party man. A good party man will not come out and say, look, my chief of staff, go to another party. He will not even say that publicly if that is the plan. You can see what is going on in Ogun State now. Those loyal to the governor, they are gradually moving out of APC and to another party. But you won't hear the man with the cap like a telco mast telling people that, okay, I've told my people. No, they know what they are doing. Politicians are very smart.
You say telco mast?
Hold on, let's face the business already. Now, Okorocha will not say, Uche Nwosu, go to another party. But Uche, if Uche feels that he's been wrong, and he has said it before that, look, I'm the only one who can win for APC. If the party doesn't give him, it's likely, it is possible that he will move to another party. So that is the issue. I didn't hear Okorocha say, I will tell him to go to another party. He was very careful, even though he was angry. You know, as he was talking to me, he was very angry. But he was very careful. He chose his words. He showed clearly that, oh, Buhari, I will back Buhari. Buhari has not offended me.
That will win the presidential election for him.
Yes. Will you back Hope Uzodinma? It is a straight no. I will campaign for myself as a senatorial candidate. I will not campaign for Hope. Hope can go and campaign for himself. So that is, as journalists, we know in interpretative journalism, we were taught interpretative journalism. You can see clearly what the message that is trying to get across, that I will not go and campaign for him. He can campaign for himself, which means that he will not work for the candidate of the party. It's as simple as that. Even if he does not directly say it, that is the message. It's a clear message. So now, he also made the point that, look, you can't have a deputy from the same Olu zone. You are accusing me that I've left I'm leaving the government house soon, and I want my successor to come from Olu zone. But here is another person that wants to take over from me. He's also from Olu. And we
have Olu, Oweri, and Okigwe zone.
So there's an issue there. Can the people of Imo State vote for an Olu ticket? Or will history repeat itself the way it happened in 1993 when we had the Muslim ticket? So it's a very interesting, potentially interesting contest that we are looking at. And in the fullness of time, people will be able to see where the direction. Honestly, as someone who just returned from that place, if I say I know who will win the election, I'm lying. I cannot predict at this stage. So
Okay.
it remains dicey.
Well, Okorocha also said it that he's the best ever governor from Imo State. And a lot of people will just think about, I used to think Sam Mbakwe readily come
That's
to
of
mind.
old Imo State.
But let's listen to Okorocha himself.
APC in the southeast is myself. And I make bold to say so. When I came in here in Imo State as the governor, there was no single hall or place of gathering. Now today we build the International Conference Center, pattern like the one of Abuja. We also have the Imo Trade and Investment Center. These are huge, humongous projects. And no one has beaten that record. Nobody has beaten that record since the creation of Imo State. Olu was a glorified village. Okigwe was a glorified village. For the first time they became a city with dualized roads and street lights, courtesy of this government. So how, if I say I am boasting about it, please permit me, because I say so out of provocation of those who criticize for just no reason, who go to social media and write all kinds of this without checking facts. In addition to that, even I met one stadium when I came, one stadium, Dananyam Stadium. Today we have built two stadium, one in Okigwe of bigger capacity and one of at Olu of international standard. Even the project they had before I came in, courtesy of Mbakwe, like the Concord Hotel was torn down, I put it back to the 5-star standard. The House Assembly that was built, shapeless at the time it was built. I've remodeled the entirety. I don't mean renovation, remodeled it completely. I came here and met a shanty in the name of police headquarters. I've built a brand new police headquarters, just like the one of Council House in Abuja. I've built a 3,200 capacity prison. Just look at the shanties there, they call prison in Imo State. These are federal government projects. I've built 4 hospitals and donated to Army, Navy, and Air Force. These are 200-bed hospitals. Why would I start counting? So when I say I've done this, believe me, I have. And I stand to be challenged. But if you take this now, my friend, if you take this to TVC, they will not speak again. They will keep quiet. I said they will keep quiet. Sometimes I say, you keep quiet because you don't know what you're talking about. That's the reason. And they tell you that Okorocha does not have anybody with him. The churches are fighting him. You are here. I went to market with you, saw how women were giving me gifts. It was an arranged visit. No. I stopped again in Douglas. I stopped at least 4 different points. You see the reaction of the people with me. The problem of Imo State is that elitist complexity. So it is not true, my dear. I will have done more projects, and I want to challenge the whole world and challenge every Imolite wherever they are. If they can say any governor that has done better than me, and if they can say all the governors put together have done better than me, let us speak.
GKB, this is like contrary to the vibe we get in Lagos from an average Imolite. I have friends that are from Imo State, and anytime they talk about Okorocha, it's always a no-go area, as in. But what Jide is bringing, from what we saw in the video and from what Okorocha is saying himself, what do you make of this situation?
Well, there are always two sides to a coin, always two sides to a story. What Okorocha is doing today is telling his own side of the story. And you and I know as journalists that it's always very difficult if you don't have a balanced report whenever you are doing something of this nature. We have elections in 80 days, like you said, and it's time for Okorocha to start blowing his own trumpets. And for 2 reasons. One is the fact that he's trying very hard not to lose the media war, because it's at a disadvantage, seriously. Second one, of course, is to ensure that the story of him planting his son-in-law is made within the context of general governance of Imo State. Once you realize those 2 facts, they will realize the fact that the man has the right to claim. Whether it's correct or not, the jury is still out on that particular verdict.
What do you make of it from what you saw? And I'm sure you can relate to the question I asked before now.
Yeah.
People would have spoken about Okorocha, especially people from Lagos here, and from what you saw on ground.
From what I saw on ground, I think that Okorocha has done very well. I may not be able to say at this point, that his claim that he has performed better than all the governors put together is right. I don't know. Within the short time that I stayed there, I could not verify that. But I saw clearly a governor who had worked for the people. And it is not also difficult to know some of these things because the Dangote company, Dangote Cement PLC, said that 64% of the cement that is bought in the southeast gets bought in Imo State.
To show you
so
the
it's
level
testament
of
to the level of construction work. When you enter the city, you see roads, being constructed. Some people will quarrel with the quality of the road, but the truth is, we can't all always give our projects to Julius Berger. You must look for a way, because Julius Berger is expensive. But you must look for a way to provide services for the people. If roads are being expanded, that means those roads are better than they used to be. That means there will be better vehicular movement. So you can talk about quality, the tar is not thick enough, this and that. But this man is providing roads for the people. And the state is being opened up. It is a fact that the new Owerri city, you will see clearly houses springing up on both sides of the road. And these are new buildings. I saw the judiciary complex that he's constructing. And I told myself that if this man can finish some of these projects, if not all, even the incoming administration will have less work to do. You will not need to build many more hospitals. You will not need to build many more schools. You will not need to build a new headquarters for the police, or even a new prison, or even a new judiciary. Yes, there's a new prison being built right now. New prison, new headquarters for the police, and the headquarters of the police is linked to the prison with a walkway that is being constructed, which means that they can provide security for the prison. And then once you are remanded prison custody, once you are found guilty, they don't have to move. It's all in the same area with the judiciary complex. They will just take you straight from the court to the prison. It's a walking distance. They put you there and you are in the slammer. So this is the thing. But he knows now, and the fight of his life that he's involved in is how to ensure that his in-law becomes the next governor. That is the big battle that he faces, and that is the battle that if he loses, honestly, it will rubbish his political credentials. Because for someone who has done so much, you want to see him at least be able to say, yes, I'm consolidating, I'll put someone there who will continue my legacy. That's what Nigerian politicians do. But this is a dicey election for him, and Okorocha knows that he has to fight. This is the biggest battle of his political career. He should stop talking about defeating Kema Chikwe and the rest of them. This is the real deal. This is the real battle that he has to face. And the elites are up in arms against him. Everyone appears not to want to hear that he wants to bring his in-law. And he knows that's why he has to really do his best.
Ultimately, it's just a matter of time, GKB.
Yeah, 80 days to go. Whoever wins the presidential election will determine the fate of both Okorocha and his son-in-law. But like I said, a victory for...
Today, the son-in-law is not the candidate, of the All Progressive Congress.
Uzodinma is the candidate.
Okay.
And the party man in Okorocha will look after the interests of the party. This is also his own interest, like he said.
All right. Now, moving on now, for many years, poor remuneration and welfare package have been fingered as responsible for the endemic corruption in the Nigerian police. Now, but that narrative may soon be changing following the approval of an enhanced salary structure for the police by President Muhammadu Buhari. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, who broke the cherry news, also gave assurance of government's commitment to the welfare and operational needs of the force. Meanwhile, members of the Police Service Commission, that's PCSC, after a closed-door meeting with the President in Abuja, commended him for enhancing the welfare of men and officers of the Nigerian police. Maybe the extortion can now stop, or what do you make of this situation? If their welfare, the salary, you know, makes sense and it's taken care of, do you think at least it will have a kind of impact on the desperation going on around the highways now?
Yeah, we really should not be talking about that. At all. It's not fair on the police for people to tie their welfare to corruption and all that. And it's not every policeman that you see that is corrupt. There are some policemen in Nigeria today that, even with a gun to their neck, they will not take bribe. There are some policemen like that.
That's one out of 20.
You think that we don't have such people, but there are people like that in the police who will not take bribe for anything. So it's not every Nigerian policeman who is crooked. It's not every Nigerian policeman that you cannot vouch for. You know, we have to be fair to these guys. They get transferred without provision of allowance. They get transferred without accommodation. I remember in those days, some people were transferred, and in the open, they were sleeping in the open in the police headquarters. Someone transferred away from Sokoto. No arrangement was made as per where they will be lodged. This is the way we treat our police. And if there is any category of Nigerians that get killed randomly, almost routinely, it is the police in the line of duty. They get killed. They get killed. Sometimes because somebody wants to steal their service rifle, they kill the policeman, and that's it. Look at even the super cop, Abba Kyari, his team. You remember they were trying to catch some kidnappers in Kaduna, and they killed these guys. So these are people's parents
and sons.
So their welfare has to be taken care of. It's not enough, in my view, to increase salaries and allowances, although I commend the president, you know, for this, and I really appreciate him for this. The working tools, the tools that they need, operational tools, you must provide. We said it before. The president now said that, look, he wants the police to regain their position of primacy in the security of our nation, which means that in securing our nation, they should be in the forefront.
First responders, yeah.
Because these days we just ask for soldiers, we rely so much on soldiers. But if you provide the police with training, with the equipment that they need, they can do the job. For example, stopping Shiites from taking over Abuja roads shouldn't be the job of the army, because they will go there and use live ammunition, which is wrong. It's unethical, it's in fact not permissible. But the police, if you give them water cannons and all that, that is the way, with the water cannon, even, remember when those Greek people were protesting, when Greece had this problem, they were very aggressive, stoning the police in their country. But they use water cannons to keep them at bay.
And batons.
You know? So provide the army, with the police with all that they need, and things will get better. In my view, we've gotten the kind of police that we want as a country. That we deserve. That we deserve, not that we want, that we deserve. Because if you provide for this guy, look at even the barracks where the police, where they sleep. And you are surprised that a policeman on the road will be so aggressive, he's ready to take a life. because we've not really cared about the welfare of these guys. So I commend Mr. President for coming up with this. I remember speaking with a policeman in Katsina, and he was telling me that we will vote against Buhari. He has not done enough for the police. That what we have is lopsided promotions and all that. We'll work against the government. With this now, a lot of those policemen will be happy. All that just needs to be done is for this to not be infinitesimal, for this increase to not be infinitesimal. It should be substantial, such that will make these guys happy, and then take care of other things, other problems that they generally face, like even uniform. Sometimes they use their money to buy boots.
Everybody buys their own clothes.
They buy their own uniform. I mean, it's wrong.
GKB, so will this serve as a morale booster?
As a morale booster for a while, yeah. But it's really not it's not Uhuru yet. The irony of this matter is this. The police were decimated, seriously, in 1984, after the army took over. Because if you remember that President Shehu Shagari bought a lot of APCs to make sure the police is enough to suppress any internal aggression against the government. But the government that came in 84, in their wisdom, decided that the police are becoming too equipped. Let me use that word. They were cut to size. And the subsequent governments have not done much to raise back the level of preparedness of police for internal aggression. And with the number of losses that the military suffer every day in what is primarily the function of the police, the time is now right to ensure that the job they are paid to do are done. Don't forget, it's Nigerian police that people will die and their family will be thrown out under 3 weeks. They will not pay the insurance. It's only Nigerian police, like you said, that people will be transferred and be waiting for their money to come in months after they've been transferred from one state to the other. The purpose of the anti-riot and the mobile police has also been defeated because their job is to serve as first responders. The salary team will work fantastically well in the short run. But ultimately, we have to look at the structure of the police. We have to look at the operational base of the police. We have to look at their welfare. Unless those are done pari passu, what we've done today, what the president has said he will do, will just be a tip of the problems that is facing law enforcement in Nigeria today.
Julian, talking about, in terms of reforming the Nigerian police, part of this Inspector General Police got there at a point in time. He wanted to withdraw the police orderlies of these VIPs, but he couldn't see it.
He was resisted.
He couldn't see it through. But the bottom line is that if the other ranks, you have a lot of officers, as you said earlier, complete gentlemen, educated, well-trained. But in terms of those ones manage the checkpoints, those ones that we see outside.
Checkpoints are even illegal.
Sometimes you see them, they're drunk. Sometimes, the conduct is not always, that's why people have been complaining of even the special anti-robbery squad, not forgetting that these are still integral parts of Nigerian police.
Yes, no doubt about it. There are excesses here and there. There is no profession where you don't have bad eggs. We've talked about the bad eggs in the police so many times, so we've abused them here. And we should also realize that there are bad legs among lawyers, among journalists. In all professions, you will find black legs. The good thing is that the police constantly identify the bad eggs within their ranks and they serve justice to them. Because if someone, I can't count how many times, with even the no-nonsense police commissioner in Lagos here, if you do anything that is unethical as a policeman and you get reported to him, you are out. Many policemen have been chased out of the force for taking bribe and all that, for receiving bribe from the public. So the police continues to identify the bad eggs amongst them and they deal with them. But as we've said in the past, training is an issue. The quality of training of today's policemen has to improve because people can only give what they have. If you do not give them quality training, it will reflect in service delivery, you know? And then there has to be discipline. My friend with the bushy hair, Shehu Sani, was saying today, he was praising the president on Twitter and was saying that the police should reciprocate the gesture of the president by improving their discipline and service delivery. So these things go together. An undisciplined policeman cannot give you the best. All he will be after is to extort money from you, or probably even take your life if he sees that he can get away with killing you. So there are so many of them like that. Then funding, beyond even the salary that the president has approved to be increased, there has to be a steady, there has to be a funding formula accommodated by the Constitution. Remember the bill for the funding of the police that was generated as early as 2009. It still hasn't been passed into law. And Senator Abu Ali, who is the author of the current bill to improve funding of the police, is of the view that the police in Nigeria needs a minimum of 450 billion every year.
450 billion?
Yes. And he's already talked about how we can find this money. 0.5% of what accrues to the federation account should go to the police. And then even a percentage of profits of companies operating in the country should also go to the police. That way, the police will be able to buy APCs, buy the equipment that they want. Because these days, it's actually state governments that are funding the police, or the Dangotes of this world. If you go to Sokoto, go to Kebbi, go everywhere, you will see the cars that Dangote bought for the police. You won't see the cars that police bought for themselves, because the funding is not sufficient. So they have to deal with the issue of funding. Government has to, Mr. President has to look at that bill again and see how we can give it accelerated assent, so that we can find a way to fund the police, which will help us to achieve the police of our dream. Right now, the police, I remember even Colonel Alabi Sama saying, look, Boko Haram could have been defeated by the police, especially at the beginning.
Yeah.
He said it. That they could have been defeated by the police. But what do we have? A poorly funded police, poor morale, lack of morale of the officers. You do not expect them to give their best. A policeman that is sleeping in the open, he has no house to go to. A policeman that is buying his own uniform, buying his own boots, you don't expect him to give his best. All he will be doing is look for ways by which he can make money. And then there's a lot of even politics about promotion in the police. That has to be addressed. I think on a later day we will talk about it. Because there are so many policemen out there who are angry about the fact that some who met them in the force have been given double promotion while they have remained stunted. It cannot allow us to have the police of our dreams. You know, so all these issues must be addressed. The president must move on from what he has done to also take bigger steps to make the police better.
GKB, do you think we are well policed? Are we not under policed when you look at the ratio?
Well, I'm not a fan of federal police. I've said it many times on this program. And I know that there are excesses, even when we go to the states. But that doesn't change the fact that the Nigerian police is a product of colonial exigencies when it came into the government. I think what we needed to do is what GD has said, but I will not go as far as giving them 0.5% of our national income, unless, of course, they are willing to allow states or a cluster of states to take charge of certain elements of policing in the areas. That's the only way for it to work. Because if you give them 45 billion or 4.5 billion, doesn't matter. The way Nigerian police is structured today, that money will disappear, like all monies, that have disappeared over the time. If you look at the quality of cars that were given to them just a year ago, and look at those cars today, realize that even the essence of keeping these vehicles in tip-top position is a problem for the Nigerian police. Because you see vehicles...
Who was responsible for that thing?
Yeah.
You see brand new vehicles in the next
January,
year, go back next year.
by March, they're already carrying tomato at mile 12. And then you wonder, is this the people you want to give more money to? So unless we change the structure of policing in Nigeria, we cannot get the police that we deserve. The one we have now is just a reflection of ourselves and our way of thinking when it comes to policing and law enforcement in our country. What I think we needed to do, seriously, now that the president is facing the problem of the police, there are two. One of them is get the constitution corrected, or whatever they do, to ensure that more powers are evolved to the Commissioner of Police or AIGs or DIGs, whatever you want to call them.
Centralizing.
Seriously, once that is done, and then let those governors and those monies coming from those areas used to police the police in that area as of that time. Once you don't do that, you come back here next year, the salary will have been increased, but the delivery will remain the same. We know officers, you and I, that buy their own uniform. We know officers that have not been paid. There's an officer today that I know that has a senior that he has never done this for. 3 months ago, the man was his junior. Today, he has to do this for his junior, who was his Batman at the police academy. He's now his senior officer. He has to report to. Morale is down. And no, it's not only salary that will change that. It's the fact that there must be fairness. There must be equity within the system. Unless the president is willing to go the whole log, this is just a token. Something you throw to the boys to keep them quiet for a while. The problem of the police is beyond salary increase. It has to do more with structure, has to do more with elements, has to do with the kind of people that come to the police. There are people coming to the police mainly because they have no other thing to do.
Yes.
In some countries, you have to go to school, study psychology, study criminology. That's what they teach you in a police college. And before you can even call yourself a street cop. We know, you and I know people that have been police on the beats in their areas for years. And they are lawyers, they are graduates, but they are street cops. That's what they do. That's what they are best at. It's because they are well equipped.
And they enjoy it.
And that's what they do. But the salary is just a first step. Insurance, accommodation, and a holistic view of diverting powers to the lower level. It doesn't have to be state police. Like I said, it could be DIG for the C-zones that has enough powers to take decisions without going to Abuja. It could be a cluster of states that needed more policemen than others that we work on. But unless we do that, we are just going around in circles.
Jude, I think it's time to take this police reform very serious, the country, because if you want anything to work, these people are very, very important to the scheme of things in Nigeria.
They are very important, and they sacrifice a lot. We can abuse them as much as we want, but many of us abusing them cannot do the job. We can't go on the streets searching vehicles, risking our lives when others are sleeping. You know, we can't do it, but we are good at attacking people, abusing people, calling people names. So the truth is, we need to look at the police. Before we cast that stone, we need to imagine what these guys are going through and tell ourselves that can't we do something better for these people? We need to look at the model in other lands. Someone was telling me about the policing in Botswana, for example. I mean, if it's been a success, if the Botswana model has been such a success, nothing stops us from buying the idea, or even Rwanda, because they are doing well too now. If you look at the rating of police in the world, you see the countries that are doing well. So how are they able to do it? We need to be ready to learn from other countries to improve the structure and processes of our police. There is just too much corruption in the police, and people who have no business being in the police. There are so many of them in the system. People that I would describe as birds of passage. They would have no business being in the police. Armed robbers. And when you put a gun in the hand of the armed robber, then you've given him the leeway to continue to extort money on the highways, and those who are not prepared to give that money, you can open fire on them and just kill them. So the police has to change. The reform, we've seen steps that this IG has taken, but those steps are not enough. I do not believe that we can reform the police within the short time that the current IG has left. It has to be a process that lasts maybe like 5 years. And we need to have a succession of excellent, incorruptible, and apolitical inspector generals of police. Those are the people who will be able to carry through the kind of reform that will give us the police of our dream. Anything short of that, in Mexico, you apply to be police, to be IG of police, or even in your county. They throw it open. A woman became the head of the police chief of police in her county. And she was not originally even trained as a policeman.
And they are elected. Don't forget, you elect your chief of police in some clients.
Yes. I think in South Africa too.
So they applied.
Yes.
She applied. She applied. A woman. She had never been in the force. She applied, and she triumphed over others, and she's heading the police in a very dangerous part of Mexico where they behead people for fun. So we have to find a way to get the best to even lead the police. It should not be just something determined by politics and all that.
Well, thank you. GKB.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you for being on the show. And the master himself, Babajide Otitoju. Thank you for always being there. And that's it on Journalist Hangout. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode of the program. And you can also watch Journalist Hangout on our platforms showing on the screen. And we're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at TVC News, at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless Nigeria.